So here's a great little workout that you can do using the circular TheraBand, so the ones that are attached. They're great because you don't have to tie them, and when you put them on, they don't actually shift and move. So when you do an exercise, they don't loosen up as you're doing the movement, which is great. So TheraBands, they come in different strengths as well, so being focused on what type of exercise you're doing and how strong you are to start is a good way to gauge what one to use. So if you're new to the exercise, haven't been doing it for a while, it's an area of weakness, you want to start with something lighter. The black ones tend to be, depending on the brand you buy, tend to be the strongest, so the most resistance. I like these ones for things like squats. So you're basically going to put your TheraBand up, again, above the knees. You don't want them on any joints, right? So you want them above the knees, and you want the band to be flat. You don't want it all bunched up, because when you go to spread your legs to perform the exercise, the band will actually dig in and won't feel very good. So a great exercise with TheraBands, again, placed above the knees. When legs are a little bit wider than shoulder width, when you go down into a squat, it creates resistance in your hips, but also it forces your legs to strengthen and force them to stay in proper alignment. So you're going to do a squat, the band is on, as you can see, knees are tracking over toes, and if you're doing it from the side, then you're ensuring that your knees don't come past your toes, right? So your hips tilt, bum goes back, standing into a squat. Again, this is forcing our hips to come into play, otherwise they may be dormant, not working, right? The sides of the bum, stabilizing muscles. So that's one, you can use them for squats. You can also do something that we like to call a crab walk, or a side-to-side shuffle of sorts. So literally, knees are bent, you've got your band on, same place, you're literally gonna pull leg out to the side, other leg's gonna follow. Comes out and stand, out and stand. And literally this is again working those hip joints and forcing those muscles to engage. This one can be done for usually a time. Most of the time it's about 30 seconds, depending on how strong you are and how much you've already been doing these exercises, so body's strong enough to make it happen. So the next one is a great one to do with the band is a glute bridge. So you're laying on your back, and you've got the band on, legs are planted shoulder width apart, again to create tension, keep knees tracking in line with shoulders. Otherwise we see things like knees falling in, or we see legs spread further than they need to be. So the band kind of keeps you in line. So you're going to bring your feet close enough into your bum that we engage bum muscles, glute muscles. We're going to lift, squeeze, and relax. And then we're going to squeeze our bum, lift, and relax. And again, you're going to feel a difference when you're using a band as compared to just doing a glute bridge on its own, because again, you're creating resistance with the legs and forcing those muscles to come into play that otherwise wouldn't. Another great exercise, strengthening knees, strengthening hips, legs, that kind of thing, is your side lying leg lift. So feet are, make sure that I'm in my screen here, feet are all the way, see where knees are all the way up, so hips and knees are in line, and knees are in line with your ankles, and literally you're lifting a couple inches away from your other leg and back down. The time that you're going to get the most out of this exercise is not the actual action of lifting, it's the action of holding. So you're going to feel that hip muscle come into play, we go back down. The reason we don't want to lift our leg here is because when you walk, which is where we're wanting stabilization, you don't walk with your legs open, right? We walk with our legs in alignment to our hip joint. So we want to do an exercise that creates tension at the point that would actually be functional, right? So we're here, holding a couple of seconds and down. So that's your side lying leg lift. And then another option is to do clamshells, which is a similar position, but this time you're keeping feet together, lifting, again, using a different area of your glute or your hip, and closing. And again, using the band, I would recommend a lighter tension for this one because it is more difficult. So doing something a little easier to start would make sense. And again, you don't want to do all of these exercises in the same day on the same routine. So I would switch them up so that you're getting different areas of the muscle and not completely fatiguing everything. And then another great exercise, again, I would go to a lighter resistance. This band is quite a lot of tension. So this particular exercise is easier when you include a lighter band. So the bird dog exercise is typically done opposite arm, opposite leg. But now when we add a band to it, we're now generating more tension in our glute muscle and our low back, which is commonly problems with people, right where we see the problems. And now we're bringing this whole chain in to play that we wouldn't otherwise. So if you're just doing them on their own, that's fine to start, and then adding a band with light resistance, so probably an orange or red or even blue would be a good start, and that literally will generate more tension in those areas that you need it for stabilization. So again, you're standing tall, your arm goes out, opposite leg tilts back, and the leg that you're standing on, you'll notice is my leg is bent. So you don't want to ever be locked out. You hold a couple of seconds and we stand back up. You can do all one side, you can do opposite, whatever feels good. But with these TheraBands, they're able to, again, create more tension in the lower body and the joints that need it, the areas of the muscles that need it the most, as opposed to just doing them on their own. So if you are thinking of investing in TheraBands, those are a few exercises you can get going with, and then you can add more in as you get stronger. So I hope that was helpful, and have a wonderful day.